Welcome to Permission to Thrive. I'm your host, Suzi Lula. As a spiritual therapist for over 20 years, I have the honor and privilege of ushering women and mothers just like you on a journey from simply surviving to powerfully thriving. I also have the honor of raising our son, Will, who is now a young adult, with my longtime partner, Jamie, so I'm right there on the journey with you. Consider this your personal sanctuary, your space to meet your heart, embrace your messy, and come home to your most authentic, extraordinary self. My hope is that you leave resourced and inspired because you are here to shine. Welcome to Permission to Thrive. Welcome everyone to today's episode of Permission to Thrive. Today's episode is called How Good Can Your Life Be? It's a solo episode that is meant to inspire you into asking yourself the question, how good can my life be? One of my favorite chapters in my book, The Motherhood Evolution, is called How Good Can Your Life Be? So I wanted to start by reading a quote from the beginning of this chapter. It's chapter 20 from my book, The Motherhood Evolution. Chapter 20, How Good Can Your Life Be? God has entrusted me with myself, said the Greek philosopher Epictetus. My friend and yoga teacher, Lee Simran Brown, illustrates this when she says, conscious breath after breath, intentional practice after practice, we till the field of our consciousness, creating a rich environment for our own growth and unfoldment. Set yourself up for full bloom. I love that statement. Set yourself up for full bloom. And that is my intention during this episode, is to assist you to set yourself up for full bloom in your life. Now, we have each come here to live an enriched, thriving, blossoming, flourishing life. And I want to share with you first, before we dive in, full disclosure, this isn't meant for you only if you're moving through a particularly easy breezy period of your life. I believe that we are here meant to live a rich life during the times that things are going easy and also during the times of challenge. So I challenge you, if you might be going through a particularly challenging time or experience or relationship in your life, give this episode the breath that might inspire you to see that even when you, or especially when you, are moving through challenges, this is also a time where a rich life is possible for you. I firmly believe, and I have experienced in my own life, that the times that I was moving through some of my biggest challenges were the times that I was most dedicated, most committed to setting myself up for full bloom. It's just that full bloom might look differently when I'm moving through a challenge than it looks when I happen to not be moving through a challenge. But the practice and the principle is the same. We're here today to set ourselves up for full bloom. And I'm going to give you 3 steps to do that. So the first step, your life, how good can your life be? Step 1, it begins within. It begins within. Why? Because we have no control over what this world is going to put into our laps. We have no control what may happen this afternoon or tomorrow, both in our own world with those of our loved ones. We have no control over what comes into our world, but we do have 100% dominion that we can ask ourselves, how good can my life be? And I have the dominion, I have the power to raise my own vibration. So this is why I always start within. Do we know scientifically our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. So if you are seeking for your outer world to be better, so good, better than you could ever have imagined, we start within, because when I can raise the vibration of my inner world, then I can guarantee that that will spiral out into all the relationships, into the different areas of my outer world. So we start within because we have the dominion to raise our own vibration. So how do we do that? We start by treating ourselves daily the same way that we would treat a guest in our home, that we would treat others in our home. So I happen to have a dear friend staying with me right now. So of course, in the evening, we're chatting, we're making great dinners, we're chatting, we're lighting candles. I've got aromatherapy going. So my point is, whether he is in our home or not, whether you live alone, whether you're in a relationship, my point is to treat yourself, to do for yourself that which you would do for your child, for a guest, for your husband, for your spouse, for a friend. So light candles in your own home when you're home alone in the evening. Do aromatherapy. Go take a bubble bath. Take the extra time to go cut some flowers from your backyard and have flowers in your home. Treat yourself, do for yourself that which you would for someone else. Make a nice meal for yourself. Make a nice salad for yourself. Do for yourself to the degree that you would treat or do for a guest in your home, for your best friend. So this is on the physical level, but also on the emotional level. Treat yourself emotionally the way that you treat your best friend. And I want you to promise me that today you are going to start with something that is so powerful, but it is so underrated in our culture. And that is to treat yourself with simple kindness. Why do I say this? To treat yourself with simple kindness. Treat yourself as if you are your own greatest supporter. Treat yourself as if you are your own greatest cheerleader. You are your own greatest fan. You see the best in yourself. You commit yourself, you dedicate yourself, and you practice seeing the best in yourself. That is in your dominion. You have the dominion to see the best in yourself. It is simply a practice. Practice treating yourself with simple kindness. Why? Kindness is so underrated, so undervalued. So earlier I was speaking about the power of raising our vibration, raising our energy, raising our frequency. When you speak to yourself or another, and when you are spoken to, when someone speaks to you kindly, what happens? It releases dopamine in your nervous system. It releases serotonin in your nervous system. So this is a scientifically proven fact that simple kindness is going to release dopamine. It's going to release serotonin. And your nervous system, your brain chemistry is going to relax. It's going to feel soothed. It's going to feel enhanced. It's going to expand. Simple kindness has the power to release these chemicals in your body that will have you immediately receive the results. So think about it. When you speak kindly to a child, their eyes light up. You can feel their body relax. When someone speaks to you kindly, when someone appreciates you, if we were at lunch right now and I was saying to you, thank you so much for investing your time and listening to this podcast. Wow, what does that say about your consciousness? You're here to expand. And I know that by you listening, it means that you want to live your most thriving, expansive life. You're interested in how good your life can be. I honor you. I appreciate you. I acknowledge you. When someone is reflecting back to you something that they see in you and appreciate in you, something that they see, immediately the serotonin, the dopamine in your system relaxes. Your nervous system says, please give me more. Your nervous system wants more. So think about it. It's very undervalued in our culture, but I'm telling you, I'm promising you, it's a free practice. Start today. When I first began researching the power of kindness, I started a 21-day kindness challenge with myself. My son Will was young. He was probably 4 or 6 years old. And I noticed that in a day, it was so much easier for me to point out all the ways that I had fallen down in his life, that I had fallen down as a mom. It was so easy for me to see what I hadn't gotten done, how I fell down, how I was impatient with him or spoke to him with a tone, all the ways that I wasn't rising up to the mom I was wanting to be at the time. And I began an experiment first with myself, and now 10, 12 years later, I've done this experiment and researched this with so many thousands of clients and students. I can tell you that a 21-day kindness challenge will change your life. So I began noticing all the ways that I was hard on myself, judging myself, criticizing myself. And I created this inner 21-day challenge where I challenged myself to speak kindly to myself for 21 days in a row. And on whatever day that I would begin to notice that I was going back into self-criticism or self-judgment or self-shaming or self-sabotaging, I would start over at day 1. And I can tell you that it probably took me definitely a few months to complete that 21-day kindness challenge to myself. But the point wasn't how long it took me to complete the 21 days because I intentionally started over with day 1. The point was that I got so much practice teaching my nervous system and experiencing inside of myself and internalizing and embodying the dramatic difference in my nervous system, whether I was criticizing myself and judging myself, or whether I was treating myself with kindness and compassion and appreciation, acceptance, support, generosity, acknowledgement. And I began to research in my own body what would happen on the days when I was really intentional about treating myself with kind words and saying kind phrases to myself and writing down the things that I was doing and reflecting back to myself with simple kindness. And I noticed there was such a dramatic difference in my nervous system. And then I noticed that there was such a dramatic difference in my own nervous system that I was then showing up to Will with much more kindness and more patience. I was showing up to Will the way that I actually wanted to show up with him. Now, this would be the same if you practiced with yourself and then applied it with a spouse, practiced with yourself, applied it with a coworker or a boss. So you begin within, and you begin within by first treating yourself the same way that you would treat a guest. You are alone. You're going to make a nice dinner for yourself tonight. You're alone. You're still going to light those candles. You begin by treating yourself the same way that you would treat another. And then you add this emotional component where you commit, and I hope that you will take the challenge. Take the challenge. Take the 21-day kindness challenge. For 21 days, you will speak to yourself with kindness. You will start over when you don't, and you will research. You will be your own researcher. You will be your own scientist, and you will feel in your own nervous system the difference. It is a dramatic difference, the way you will feel when you are criticizing and shaming yourself, or when you are being kind and compassionate, loving, patient, accepting, appreciative, acknowledging of yourself. Dramatic difference in your nervous system. Please email me, DM me, let me know how this is going for you. And so remember, the whole point of this is that we are seeking to raise our vibration, because as we raise our vibration, our consciousness expands. And as our consciousness is expanding, we are able to receive more and more and more good in our life. And so this is science. When you treat yourself the same way as you would treat another, when you speak kindly to yourself, the serotonin levels rise in your nervous system, and you expand your consciousness. Your consciousness, your frequency, your vibration rises, your consciousness expands. And when we have an expansive consciousness, we are more able to receive the good that is here coming in to our life and into our world. So step 1 is to begin within. Step 2 is to indulge guilt-free. Want this to be an absolutely guilt-free experience and an absolutely guilt-free experiment. We as women especially have been so indoctrinated to believe that when we treat ourselves well, when we treat ourselves as well as we do a guest, when we take care of ourselves, when we, even the word indulge, when we indulge in this luxurious way of simply lighting a candle, simply committing to moving our body more, simply committing to have some fresh flowers in your life, we are so indoctrinated to see that as selfish. And so this question of how good can my life be is meant to stretch your consciousness. It is meant to push you. It is meant to push you in these very simple ways to ask yourself, can I do this completely guilt-free? And I will tell you why I live my life 100% guilt-free now is because when I was experimenting with myself and when I would literally treat myself as well, if not better, as I wanted to treat Will, as well, if not better, as I wanted to treat Jamie, as well as I would treat any cherished guest in my home, what I found out is that the way I then came to the table with them was dramatically enhanced. And so even though I may have started off feeling like this was selfish, feeling guilty that I was taking the hour to go take a walk in nature and leaving Will with a babysitter, even though at the beginning I was indoctrinated to think that it was selfish and I probably did experience guilt. But what proved to me beyond a shadow of a doubt, the evidence that I received that has allowed me to live my life 100% guilt-free right now is because I experienced the woman that I was, the mom that I was after those walks in nature, after taking that time to go to lunch with a girlfriend or paint a picture, cut some roses, have roses in my house, make a nice dinner for myself, even if no one was home, make a nice dinner for myself, even before I put Will in the bathtub, make a nice dinner for myself, even before I put him to bed. These simple practices had me experience such an inner transformation that I showed up to Will as the mom I wanted to be anyway. I showed up to Jamie as the more enhanced version of myself. I began experiencing an inner consciousness of well-being, and then I brought that well-being everywhere that I went. And so now I can tell you, it's just such a waste of energy. Guilt is culturally induced. Now, this is not the guilt that we are encoded with that has to do with our morality. You see, culture has enmeshed two different forms of guilt. One form of guilt we are encoded with, and that is a morality that says, if I steal a candy bar from a store, I'm going to feel guilty. My inner sense of integrity, that encoded place within me that knows right from wrong, I'm not going to feel good when I take a candy bar from a store. That is an encoded sense. That is a messenger system within us that helps us to live the life that we have come here to live. But there is a cultural guilt that is 100% made up because we live in a universe of abundance. And I'm telling you that we don't live in linear time. There is more than enough time for you to make a nice salad and give your child a bath and put them to bed. And when you start taking the time to light some candles, to go walk in nature, to, if you can't take an hour walk, go barefoot and put your feet in the grass outside. Go look at the full moon tonight. If there's a full moon, go look at the sky, go look at the sunset. This is a way of life. When you begin to treat yourself in a way of life, what you will recognize is that you will experience an inner sense of well-being. And then you bring that sense of well-being everywhere you went. I didn't set out that way, but I began to recognize that the better I took care of myself, I was showing up as the person I wanted to be. And when that began to happen to me, I realized that I had been indoctrinated into a made-up cultural guilt, and I will never feel guilty again because I like myself better the better I take care of myself. And so I like myself better the better I take care of myself. And I can answer this question, how good can my life be? The better I take care of myself, the better my life gets. And the better my life gets, the better I like how I show up. And so the less guilt I feel. The better I feel about me, the less guilt I feel, because I bring this enhanced version of myself everywhere that I go. So the first step is to begin within, to treat yourself as well as you would treat your most cherished guest, and then to consider this 21-day kindness challenge of treating yourself with simple kindness to prove to yourself that your own vibration will expand and rise. And then step 2 is to do all of this guilt-free, to prove to yourself that the more kind you treat yourself, the more expansive you are, the more you like yourself, the better you show up for everyone around you. So there's no reason to feel guilty. So step 2 is to do this all guilt-free, absolutely guilt-free. And then step 3 is to practice standing in your gifts. Step 3 is to practice. It's to practice asking yourself, how good can my life be? So I would like you, as an assignment, to put on a timer for 2 minutes. And for those 2 minutes, I would like you to just free form, free flow. How good can my life be? And imagine and give yourself the moment to envision, how good could my life be when I am able to receive all the good that is around me? Can you speak for 2 minutes about how good your life could be? Could you speak for 2 minutes about how you would shift if you treated yourself with simple kindness? Could you speak for 2 minutes about your gifts, about your brilliance, about what you came here to contribute and share with those around you? Could you right now take 2 minutes and speak about the gifts that you bring to your children, the gifts that you bring to your spouse, the gifts that you bring to your girlfriends, the gifts that you bring to your work, your place of employment, the gifts that you bring to your clients if you're a coach? Give yourself, please do yourself a favor. As soon as this is over, set that timer. Speak for 2 minutes. And if you can't do it, speak for 30 seconds. And tomorrow, speak for 35 seconds. And the next day, speak for 40 seconds. And the next day, speak for a minute, so that you build yourself up. And then if you really want to challenge yourself, set your timer for 2 minutes and go do it in front of a mirror. Look into your own eyes. Look into your own soul. Give yourself the familiarity of seeing who you really are, what you have really come here to experience, how much is here for you to receive, how much is here for you to give. You can start with the words, I am, and then find qualities that you can add about yourself. You can start with the words, I love about myself, I like about myself, and then use the qualities. You can say, I'm obsessed with traveling. I'm obsessed with being patient. I'm obsessed with being connected to will. And I'm obsessed with seeing beautiful places. I am and I love will assist you to lift and raise your vibration. You can say, the gifts that I have come here to share are. You can say, what I love about myself is. a minute, 2 minutes on your gifts. Like, I can be patient with my child. I'm obsessed with connection and intimacy, and I love that about myself. I'm creative and I love painting. I love painting pictures and furniture. I'm obsessed with nature and I love having fresh flowers in my house. I'm obsessed with aesthetics and I love decluttering because the clear space allows me to be clear-minded. And when I'm clear-minded, I'm clear-hearted. And when I'm clear-hearted, I'm more loving. So these are they are meant to be very simple, real examples from your actual life. My really dear friend and I, at the end of last year, we called it a 40-day deprivation detox. And every day we would look at the things and the ways that we were depriving ourselves. Maybe you're depriving yourselves from making that beautiful meal, even if you're alone at night. Maybe you're depriving yourselves of simply lighting some candles when you're alone. You do it with friends, but you won't do it for yourself. Maybe you're depriving yourself of putting yummy lotion all over your body, or you're depriving yourself of staying in that bathtub and listening to your favorite music or a podcast. And if you begin to look at the ways that you are depriving yourself, then you are also simultaneously entering the world of abundance. And so how good can my life be is about entering into the world of abundance. Can I see what is working rather than what isn't working? Can I see how far I have come versus how far I have yet to go? Can I treat myself with the same dignity and kindness and love and intimacy and connection that I would someone that I love and cherish and adore? Can I take the extra 10 minutes to put lotion on myself like I would my child? All of these seemingly simple ways will assure that you will lift your own vibration. And when you lift your own vibration, you enter into a flow. You enter into a stream of abundance. You enter into an energy of good. And there is a universal energy and presence of good that is infinite. It is a stream, it is a source, it is a wellspring of good. It is infinite. It is here for you. And when you begin from the inside out to treat yourself in a way that opens you up to this good, you put yourself into the stream, into the energy of this infinite wellspring of good, and it allows you to receive that good in your life. So how good can your life be is really the question of how much good can I receive? And to become receptive, you need to treat yourself first the same way you think you will receive, be it finance, be it more time for yourself. You think you will receive when, but truly you are already encoded to be a receptive being. That's why children can receive. You can't love a child too much. They can receive all the love you have for them. They don't put a cap on their own ability to receive. And so as you ask yourself, how good can my life be? You are also asking yourself, how much good can I receive? There is infinite good. There is infinite abundance available to you. And by these practices that I've outlined today, you will open yourself up to you becoming more receptive to the good that is already here for you. So how good can your life be? Let's review the 3 steps. First step, treat yourself and speak to yourself as kindly as you would to your very best friend. Number 2, you're going to do it guilt-free. And number 3, you are going to take 2 minutes and you are going to say out loud, maybe in front of a mirror, all the ways that your life can be so good, all the things and ways that you are receiving from your life, the good gifts that are yours to bring and to share and contribute, what you love about yourself, who you are, what you like about yourself. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, or work up to your 2 minutes. Take the 21-day kindness challenge, DM me, email me. If anything from today has assisted you, please consider forwarding this episode to a friend who you want to see their life be oh so good. and consider leaving a 5-star review. That is so helpful to me to get the word out. I want to see 1 million mothers thriving in this world. I want to see 1 million of them touched. I want to see 1 million mothers walking around guilt-free when they take care of themselves. Don't you want to see this too? So consider sending this to a friend, consider leaving a 5-star review, and please know from my heart to yours that I so deeply appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for sharing. And I will see you again next week. Much love, everyone, and give yourself permission to thrive guilt-free this week. Thank you so much for listening. If there was something in this conversation that spoke to you, we'd so appreciate it if you would take the time to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share this episode with women and mothers you know, because you are here to thrive. See you next time.